Hello again, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani here on this Wednesday afternoon. We're being joined by the much talked about Gamebred, Jorge Masvidal. In the news, as always. Jorge, how are you?
Good, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well. All right, what is going on here, Jorge? We thought that we were on a path to you versus Kamaru Usman. We thought this fight was happening, and then all of a sudden, tweet out on Saturday afternoon, you're going to run it back with Nate. Kamaru was talking about Conor McGregor, saying you don't want the fight anymore. Can you clear the air for us? What is going on?
What is going on? Well, Kamaru, who's asked for an insane amount of money, he had one of the worst pay-per-view cards of 2019. I had the best. This is by numbers. It's not an opinion. I had the most sold pay-per-views of 2019. So he thinks he's hit the jackpot. And he was asking crazy money for the UFC. The UFC's told him no on several occasions. But this kind of goes back before that. Before me and Nate fought the first time, when Colby was giving him trouble, I stepped in because they called me. They go, "Would you fight Usman on 6 weeks' notice?" I said yes. Usman said no. Who stepped in? Nate Diaz. Now this thing comes about, and he's asking for a crazy amount of money because he thinks since he's fighting the star at 170 that he's gonna get paid that. But you got to bring in your worth, man. You don't get that. You had the women's greatest champion that ever lived, the most talked about woman in our history, Amanda Nunes. You had Max Holloway, Volkanovski on the card, and a good undercard besides that. And they still had one of the worst draws ever because of Usman's whack ass. So how are you gonna demand all this crazy money and then get upset when the UFC don't want to give it to you? And he gave it away. He's talking about if the price is right. Well, they don't feel that the price is right. They don't want to pay him that money. So what can I do? And the fight's gonna happen, man, because that's the fight I want, man. That it's gonna happen. It's just he's making it tough. The UFC's making it a little bit tough, but it's what the fans want. It's what you want. It's what I want. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna get money. If not, it's gonna be Nate Diaz, man, and then I'll mess up Usman's face come November. But it's gonna happen,
Okay, so as far as your talks with the UFC, were you on board? Were you all done with them?
We haven't got an official contract. We haven't got any bout agreement. See, if Usman, this is where we could just see that the people that are involved with Usman and put his stuff out is just fake news, and this is the real stuff. I'll tell you right now, if it is so real, why doesn't he have a signed bout agreement with the date on it, all that stuff, and post it online? Since you've signed, since you're so ready to go, because he talks about I was ready on this date, on that date. On no occasion did he ever sign the bout agreement. He's never signed the bout agreement. He's never even agreed on money to them. He just says, yeah, I'll fight. He asked for money. They're telling me that yes or no, and that's it. It is a somewhat of a business, He's going to try to act like he's a tough guy. Hey, lost you there.
No, you're good.
He's going to try to act like he's a tough guy and stuff, but he's not. He's been talking about he's a knockout machine. You knocked out the fragile dude, man. Don't nobody care about that dude. That dude's been finished twice in the UFC. Why are you bragging about him? You knocked out a wrestler that can't knock nobody out. They can't take a hit. So what is the big about? It's gonna happen, but it's not gonna be in his terms, like I've said from the start. And he's so desperate that he'll just be sitting cage-side there when I run it back with Nate again with his mouth wide open. Like, oh, he's my biggest fan, my biggest groupie.
He said this to Brett Okamoto yesterday. Both you and Conor McGregor are champions of Twitter, talking smack on Twitter. In the history of MMA, who has ever said no to a title shot? I'm that guy. I'm the boogeyman who these guys are saying no to a title shot against, and they better remain quiet. Jorge Masvidal, you had an opportunity on April 18th, May 9th, June, and now July. And you want to fight Nate, a fight that wasn't even competitive. And so he's saying that you're turning down the title shot. You're saying that's not true.
What I'm saying is that on April and May, he never signed a bout agreement. The UFC knew what we wanted for money. They went to him. He didn't sign a bout agreement. There was no further discussions. He didn't sign the bout agreement, so therefore they didn't even talk to me. I'm the one that draws you and sells you. People are buying the fight to watch me. So they don't care about him. They already got me on board. They know that if they get him to sign, they're going to compensate me. They're going to take care of me. His ass ain't signed the paper on any of those days. And when he had the chance, when he for real had the chance that he was getting ready for it in November, why do you think it was supposed, like he always says, it was supposed to be him and that other fragile dude in November, right? What happened? Why didn't they scrap it out? How did me and Nate out of nowhere come out? How did that happen? Because he said no to me. He straight up, when they called him and said, you want to fight Masvidal in 6 weeks? He said no. 3 hours later, he called back. He's like, you know what? I think I might take it. Too bad. Nate had already stepped up to the plate and said, let's go. Let's run it. What's the big deal? This guy is, and that's why that fake news and all that stuff, it's gonna happen, man. I'm gonna dictate when it's gonna happen, and not him. You know.
What do you make of him now talking about Conor and his team saying that they will fight Conor instead of you?
Desperate. It was just, I thought Conor's fighting Gagey. That's what I heard. To tell you the truth, I don't care, man. I just get in here and train and train and train. He's not gonna fight nobody, man. That's why he's desperate. He's calling out for everybody. How many interviews have I done with you in the last, I don't know, 5-6 weeks? Compared to this guy, he's constantly calling up Brett or whoever will give him the time. Hey, let me get on your show. How many times does he call you to get on your show? Maybe you don't want to say it, you smile and you give it all away with that. This guy's a groupie, man. This guy's an attention whore. I love the fight, man. I'm not gonna lie. That's my sin. I love the scrap, man. He keep all the meat and he keep talking. When he signs a bout agreement, UFC sends it over to me and we discuss our numbers. We'll do it. But the UFC doesn't even care for him, man. He's the lowest selling guy of 2019. Why do they care for this guy? It's a business at the end of the day, and he's in the no making money business. Look at it. Look at his paychecks compared to mine. And I want to address one more thing, just because it's facts. He said I'm a Twitter champion. That's interesting because I think he has triple the tweets that I have, unless he's erased them like as an hour ago. He has quadruple the tweets or something that I have. So what's he getting at? You know what I'm saying? Who's the Twitter champion if you're the one that's constantly on Twitter, man? Constantly talking to anybody that'll interview him. He's okay. I'm in. Interview me, please. Somebody hear me. That's why nobody cares for him, man. It's just fake news all the time. It's just talk. He ain't doing shit. And then when he fights, what does he do? Facing the crotch. He knocked out the fragile dude and he's campaigning for that. I got more knockouts. No, I got just as many knockouts as he has wins, period. I got 16 knockouts on my record. He has like 15 wins, something like that. After I break his face, I'm going to have more knockouts than he has wins. You're telling me I'm scared of that dude? Come on, man. They said the same thing about Ben, that I was backstepping this and that. No, we had to get the numbers right. Things had to be on board. When the things were right and they said, okay, after Ben, you're guaranteed a title shot, what did we do? Signed right away. The money was right. Believe me when I tell you, I'm going to make Usman look as simple as I say when we get in there.
If the UFC comes to you today and says, what do you want, Usman or Nate Diaz? What are you picking?
It's all the same tomatoes and potatoes, Usman's face, man, because I have a distinct dislike for him.
Okay. So do you feel like it's going to happen? Do you believe in your heart it's going to happen this summer?
I don't know if it happens summer. I don't know if it happens November. I don't know when it happens, but I'll tell you this much. I'll say when, where, and the A side, and you can tell because of the money, will be right here. He could say and do whatever he wants. I know his feelings get so hurt because he talks so much and nobody listens to him, man. He did that interview with who you just said right now. Let's see how many views you get. Let's see how many views me and you get. Hey, the numbers don't lie, man. Don't nobody listen to your crap, man. He put out a 3-hour movie. Ain't nobody seen that. Did you see it? Did you see it?
I did not see it.
What? You didn't see? You're the biggest nerd in MMA. You didn't see that stuff, man? Come on, man. Don't nobody give a F about this dude, man. But I'm going to make him famous, so I guarantee you. Just like I made that British dude famous backstage, whatever his name is, I'm going to make this dude even more famous, man.
Would you be open to fighting July 11th, Jorge? Because they are looking for...
Definitely open to fight July 11th. UFC doesn't know my number, but they do know my management's number. They call their ass up, give them the deal. We've been training for a minute, man. Since January, I already been training. Once April came around, we've been hitting the gas pedal hard, man. We're ready to go tomorrow.
So for the public, if you are good to go July 11th, they call up Abe Kawa, your manager, and said, all right, we want Jorge Masvidal on July 11th. Who do you think your opponent will be on July 11th? Who has a better chance of being your opponent?
I don't know, man. To tell you the truth, I'm being honest with you. I don't think Nate has a problem going it out, man. I think Nate's ready to go, and he'd be willing to go. Usman's asking for go. You know, people in the UFC, go find out how much money he's asking for. He's asking for an absurd amount of money. An absurd amount of money. The UFC has said, that, bro. Who are you, man? How could you ask for this amount of money guaranteed when you're not a draw, man? You're not a draw. You're not a household name. Nobody knows you. Even the hardcores in the sport don't care for you, man. He doesn't have like a commanding force, like, hey, I could at least bring 300,000 pay-per-views, blah, blah, blah. No, he doesn't do that. So you know, with a stack card like that at the end of December when they had immense amount of propaganda and this and that. And right before that was my pay-per-view, which was the high selling. So that means that there's more subscriptions on ESPN. That means it's easier for people to access the platform. You would have thought they would have outdone me. Not even close. So I think if he gets off his high horse, him and his management, maybe they might see the light, man, and then wake up looking at the lights.
And before I let you go, Jorge, I just spoke to your old teammate Colby Covington, who told me he's left ATT. He's no longer a member of the team anymore. Can I ask what your reaction to this is?
I guess who's still here? The truth will shine, my brother.
What happened?
I'll let you ask Dan Lambert, but that dude was never part of this team. He was just a cancer, man, for the last 34 years. You know, man, at the end of the day, he didn't feel safe in here, man. I wonder why.
Are you happy he's gone? Would you like to fight him?
I'll tell you what, man. This I'm not exaggerating what I'm about to say. No, this is a temple for me. It's somewhat of a religious experience for me being in here since a kid. You know, my good days, my bad days, my birthdays, all days I've spent in this gym sharpening my tools. I truly love this place. So I don't like to see that animosity, even if he had never said a word about me. What type of teammate or man, or he's not a man, but sport are we in that you can insult a woman? You know, insulted Joanna, insulted Amanda, insulted Dustin. These people are not in your weight class. I get it. You're trying to do the stick that you're some type of heel. But what's that have to do with a woman? A 115-pound woman, 135 woman. Are you going to compete against them? Are you going to sell more pay-per-views because you're talking about Amanda and Joanna? Answer me that. Is that what's going to happen? People are going to be like, oh, he's talking smack about chicks. I'm going to go buy the pay-per-view. And it just sets such a bad example of our team and our sport. So him not being associated with us no more, they've already removed all the pictures of this coward here. He's off the website. It's like he didn't even exist from here. And same thing it'll be in the UFC. His next fight, he's going to get knocked out, and then he'll end up in Mikasuki's, in Indian gaming halls, fighting for his life, you know?
So before it's all said and done, would you like to fight him, or do you just want to be done with him?
I'm pretty sure he's just done, man. Life is just going to get him out of that. I don't see him winning anymore. Not at a high level. If they give him some new guy that just came in, maybe. But if they have him up there against top competition, he won't handle it. He's a fragile dude, man. And he's not a guy that's mentally strong. You know, I remember he used to cry on my couch all the time. When he broke his hand the first time, he lived in my couch for about 8-9 months. Didn't have a job, couldn't fight, had a broken hand, and he thought about quitting like 2-3 times. So mentally, he's weak. I've been hearing the same thing about the jaw. I'd be surprised if he even comes back to fighting. That stuff that he was going to fight Woodley, he wasn't training here. He wasn't training anywhere. He's just, and that's what kind of the media has to really, I don't know, man. The media has to kind of change. You can't just copy and paste everything everybody says. I'm not saying you, but you know who I'm talking about. Anything somebody says something, they put it out there. Just because he says it doesn't mean he's going to do it or nothing like that, you know? We should be questioning these people as journalists. Like, yeah, is that so? You've been training this and that? Because he wasn't training anywhere. Woodley was actually getting ready to fight for Leon. Woodley actually signed the bout agreement. Colby yet again pulled out for a third time. So I don't, against Woodley. So I don't get it how he even has anybody believing in him. You know, I don't see him fighting any top fighters anytime soon.
Last question for you, Jorge. If you could look in your crystal ball for us to make it as clear as possible, what day and against who are we seeing you fight against? Again, excuse me.
Since November, like toward the end of November, December, we were hearing rumors that I would be headlining International Fight Week, July 11th. That's still my plan. I'm going to try to headline that card against the biggest name, the biggest fight, the toughest fight I can get my hands on. I'm the champ. Not that. And I'm going to prove it on July 11th if he signs the dotted line. Now, he could go and make all the publications he wants. He could go do all the interviews with Brett Okamoto and them. But that doesn't mean you signed the bout agreement. That doesn't mean you're willing to compete. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Jorge. I appreciate it. And I love the beard, man. It's looking like Kimbo. Respect.
I haven't been to the barbershop. I took that quarantine for real, man. I was like 6-7 weeks locked up, man.
But now you're free.
I kind of free. I'm just out at the gym, you know. I still try to try to low key it out, you know. But the beaches just got open in Florida, in some parts of Florida, like in Broward County. So we're gonna enjoy those pretty soon. We're getting some beach workouts and things like that, you know.
And I hear that you're giving Bo Nickel a run for his money as well. Perhaps a sign of things to come.
Giving him a run in his money in spike ball, man. I can't do nothing to that dude wrestling, man. That's a guy to look out for, man. Bo's a stud. He came down with a couple guys, Anthony as well, Anthony Kazar, which was a heavyweight champion for Penn State. We also got Cody Law in here, which is another beast. It's just the future's looking real bright for American Top Team, man. We're gonna do something that's devastating, and nobody's even seeing it coming. We got a good work ethic down here. We attract the right guys. That's why that guy that you mentioned earlier, him leaving, has actually attracted the next wave of people. Because don't nobody want to train with a piece of crap like that that's going to be talking about how they did in sparring or how they didn't, and going on Twitter and saying, I would beat up so-and-so if I would get in a fight. That's not sportsmanlike. That's not teammate-like, you know? And he says that it's a solo sport, but it's not, because all those coaches that he talked bad about, those Brazilian coaches that he talked crap about, they were the ones holding the pads for him. They were the ones getting the kicked in the arms from him. They were the ones grappling with him. In the whole Brazil, yet he was here, these Brazilian coaches, to help him out, to give him a pad session. Nobody wanted to work with him, and those are the only guys that were willing to work with, the guys that. So getting rid of that cancer was like the best thing for this gym. You're gonna see us we're already at the top. I don't think there's no competition for us right now, but we're gonna hit another stratosphere coming out.
Appreciate the time as always, Jorge. Good to talk to you again.
Who's the best gym in the world, man? You asked me like a million questions.
Hey.
And don't start corporate Jake with you. We got to cut it now. It's my turn to ask some questions. Best team in the world currently.
There's a few that come to mind. American Top Team at the top of the list. AKA, I think, is a great team. Jackson
there's
Wink.
Some great teams out there. There's some great teams out there.
TriStar.
But let's even forget about the UFC. Let's forget about the UFC. Think about Bellator.
Yeah.
PFL. Risen. You know what? Have you seen the belt collection we got over here, man?
I've heard of it. Yes.
Let me show you something, man.
Okay. All right.
I take this with pride, and this is my job. I've been carrying this flag for a long time for American Top Team, and this is just to be in these halls right here. It's amazing, man. Let me show you if you guys got a second.
Yeah, it's a beautiful facility you guys got. Yep.
This one's not bad. We got that one. All right. And then look at that. Look. Ooh.
Oh wow.
Can you see that? Those are all belts. Those are real belts, my brother.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.